Hello. Friday. Now, I'm not a doctor, but if any of you were considering injecting yourself with bleach, don't do it. Hi, Maria. Okay, so I think that what the USA in particular has really highlighted at the moment is that when people are unsure about things, when things are a little bit difficult like they are now, conflicting advice is really difficult. And that happens a lot when people are in recovery. And it's not necessarily that they may have conflicting advice from different treatment professionals. They often do, but that's not what I'm talking about. A lot of the time, the advice that they're given by treatment professionals is conflicting to what their body feels like they're asking them to do. And so, with the sort of meal plan approach and all these things that really sort of actually increase restrictive thoughts, or at least don't teach us to trust our bodies and eat without restriction. And I'll say it again, trust our bodies. If our bodies say that we want to eat more, that we should trust that. That feels like conflicting advice. It feels like that, there's this conflict that goes on. Your body's saying one thing and then outsiders are saying another. And it's just very stressful and anxiety provoking, as most people in the current environment in America at least are feeling. Okay. All right, got some questions. Macy, I know I've talked about this before. I'm wondering how you've steered your thoughts away from the guilt of not exercising. It's eating me alive, but I know it's crucial for my recovery. So what you just have to do is, like, the guilt of not exercising is not going to go anywhere, Macy, because your brain has this belief that you need to exercise, and it's a fear-based belief, and your brain feels that if you don't exercise, that's a threat to you. And so your brain is just using the emotion of guilt to try and motivate you to do something that it believes that you need to do in order to survive, in this case, exercise. And so until we've rewired that exercise compulsion, the guilt's not going to go anywhere. Don't expect it to go anywhere. Don't even try and make it go anywhere. It's just going to be there, except the guilt is going to be there. And don't try and hide from the guilt, and don't try and lessen the guilt. You can't. The guilt's going to be there. Just accept it. The guilt is going to be there throughout your recovery until it's rewired, at least. And that's okay. It can be there. It can just sit there. It can just do its guilt thing, sitting right there next to you. You don't have to get involved with it. Just because it's sitting there doesn't mean you have to get involved with it. Just because it's there doesn't mean that you have to jump into it. And so just accept the guilt's going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. And that's okay. And it can just do its thing. You don't have to do its thing with it. You do your thing. And that's how you do it. You just, all right, I can't make this guilt go anywhere. It's going to stay. That's all right. I'm going to do what I need to do anyway. And by that, what you're doing then is you're just completely ignoring the guilt. And that in turn is teaching your brain that, oh, well, maybe guilt's not appropriate. And your brain's really smart. It will get the message if you're consistent with that. Right, Mahum. I'm a 14-year-old girl and I've recently started recovery. One of my main motivations is the fear that I've stunted my growth. Is it possible for me to catch up growth start? Is it possible for me to get a catch up growth spurt during or after during recovery? I'm sure it is possible, but that's not a guarantee it's going to happen. It's like with most things that when we go into recovery, there's lots of things that we hope are going to happen that we, of course, don't get a guarantee of. And so there's no guarantees that you'll get a growth spurt. It's highly likely it will happen as well. But what if I were you, I just, sort of consider something like that. To an extent, it's out of your hands. All you can really do to give your body what it needs in order to do what it needs to do is eat as much food as possible. So if there's a slightest chance that eating more food right now is going to get your body in a better place and be better prepared to grow and have a growth spurt, just do it. There's eating disorders can do a lot of damage. Eating disorders can permanently stunt someone's growth. I'm not going to pretend that can't happen. It can. I've also known a high percentage of people who are younger and in recovery actually had that growth spurt after they've started eating. So there are no promises, there are no guarantees, but there's a really high chance that if you start eating and really eating right now and get yourself out of energy deficit, that growth spurt might come. So take that chance and do it. Don't second guess it. Just focus. I'm eating for my body, and do your very best to do so. And erring on the side of caution is eating more food. All right. Right. Okay. Who's next? Oh, I've lost so many questions I can't find anywhere. It keeps on jumping around as well, which is not helpful. All right. Ella, so Maria Morrison, I made the best decision tomorrow. Stop counting on my extreme hunger. Good. Eleanor, I usually hoard food, and now I have an urge to hoard even more food because of the quarantine. Is that okay? I should force not to hoard food. My parents are super upset. They want me to stop. Look, I don't give a fuck what you do with the food. Just eat it. Like if you're hoarding food, it just tends to imply that you're not eating it, doesn't it? I bet your parents wouldn't have a problem with it at all if you just ate it, and if you actually were eating as much as you were storing. But you're not, are you? So that's actually the problem. It's not really a problem with hoarding food. It's a problem with you not eating enough food, isn't it? And so just you can buy food as long as it's going in. Buy as much food as you want as long as it's going in. It doesn't get to stockpile. If it's stockpiling, you're doing recovery wrong, because you're buying the food because that's mental hunger, because you want to eat it. So that means you're not responding to mental hunger. And if you're not responding to mental hunger, then you're fucking up recovery. So start actually doing it right, and your hoarding problem will probably magically disappear because you'll be eating it all, so it won't be being stockpiled. Problem solved. Ella Hall. Hi, I've been talking to lots of people and trying to tell them how to recover and tell them that it's okay, but people don't listen to me and it breaks my heart. How can I help them start recovery? Well, Ella, if you're in recovery yourself, the first thing you need to do is sort yourself out. Don't worry about other people right now. It's not appropriate, really. You got to sort yourself out. If you're fully recovered, sure. But one thing I've learned is that you can take a horse to water and you can't make it drink. I mean that, actually. I've done that plenty of times. I've taken a horse to water and the bugger won't drink. But if somebody doesn't want to recover, it's very difficult to make them want to recover. And say if plenty of horses out there, and sometimes I'm like, well, that horse hasn't had any water for a while. I'm going to take it some water. And if it doesn't drink, I'm not going to go like, well, fuck you, horse. Never taking you water again. No, of course I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep trying to take that horse water. So that's all you can do, isn't it? You just got to keep on trying to support, trying to offer the things that you know to be true. And maybe they'll listen and maybe they won't. But as long as it's not detracting you, as long as it's not depleting you, then all you keep doing is you keep trying your best. If it is depleting you, that's a different problem. And that's a really important one. If it is detracting somehow from your recovery, then you absolutely need to focus on yours. Okay, I've got time for one more. Courtney Smith says, I am so sure. I am so sure. I'm not sure if I feel sick because I'm hungry or just feeling sick from fullness of food. Either way, I'm thinking of food. Either way, you should eat more food. It can be a bit weird, can't it? I remember, I used to, I'd sort of be feeling full. And I was in recovery, I'd eat a load of food and I just felt like so full. I'm so full. Oh my God, I can't move. I'm so full. And then it would just a little bit of time would pass and then it would just suddenly go boom. It was as if my stomach suddenly cleared. And then I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I feel like I'm going to throw up. It was weird. And I really would get this feeling like I'm going to throw up. I'm so hungry, really suddenly. And so, yeah, just it can just, your digestive tract's just messed up when you restrict food. Messed up. And you got to unmess it by giving it a load of energy, and that means food. And so, if in doubt, just eat the food. Just eat the food. Don't even worry about why you feel sick. If you feel sick because you're hungry and you can eat more food, eat more food. If you feel sick because you're completely full and you can eat more food, eat more food. If you feel sick and you can eat more food, eat more food. That reminds me a little bit like the maths equations that my teachers used to draw out. It's like you'd have, anyway, let's not go into algebra because I'm going to embarrass myself there. But, it's like the common thing there was feel sick and eat more food being the answer. So I just took away the and I'm hungry or and I'm full and just was left with the eat more food. Somebody who's good at maths will know what I'm talking about. But so when you're trying to decision make, when you're trying to solve problems in recovery and you have a question, 99.999% of the time, the answer is going to be eat more food. And I think I'm going to leave that there for the weekend. If you have a question in your recovery, if you're confused in your recovery, if you're wondering about anything in your recovery, the answer is probably going to be eat more food. Just saved you a load of money talking to therapists and lots of people. The answer is probably going to be eat more food. And I just put myself out of a job. Bye.